Hello students. Amartya Kumar Sen, a Nobel Prize winner, Indian economist, author of the book Poverty and Famine. He wrote in his book regarding Great Bengal famine. Starvation is the characteristics of some people not having enough food to eat. It is not the characteristics of these people not having food to eat, while the latter may be the cause for the former. And it is not, it is only one possible cause among the causes of the situation. Whether and how starvation relates to food supply is a matter for factual investigation. Today, let us discuss about positive contribution of British administration in India or good and bad impacts of British government on Indian economy. Our textbook question number 16, the last question from that first unit, first lesson. It is regarding the positive contributions of British administration in India. Are you ready? When we think about the British administration from 1757, after the Battle of Plassey, till 1947, we can find out that the British administration, it was in a situation of exploitation or the extraction of wealth from our country. Around 2 centuries means period of long British colonial period in our country. As I told you, from 1757, from the Battle of Plassey, they got the right to collect revenue from Bengal, and after that followed by Battle of Buxar and all. Then after the First War of Independence in 1857, Sepoy Mutiny, according to the British historians, First War of Independence according to us, till 1947, around 190 years of administration. We can say around 2 centuries, 200 years of period. When we study about the contributions of Britishers, there are positive contributions are there, good impacts are there, as well as bad impacts are also there. Not only good impacts, but also bad impacts also there in case of our nation. Agriculture, around we are saying, agricultural sector saddled with a surplus labor force and extremely showed low productivity in Indian agriculture. All these matters we discussed in our previous lessons. Here we are only summing up all these matters. Understood? Extremely low productivity was the nature of Indian agriculture during British period, and holdings were divided, subdivided and fragmented holdings also. There was no chance for mechanization in the agricultural sector. When we are coming from agriculture to industry, we can see that industrial sector also, it was crying for the modernization of the sector, diversification, capacity building and increase in investment, and all industry was crying for the advancement or development. But Britishers used the industry for the economic interest of Britain and for the economic aspirations or the promotions of the British industrial development. From industry, when we are coming to foreign trade, the situation of foreign trade also was pathetic. They used the country and the resources of the nation only for their industries and development. And the industrial revolution of the Britain, only after the industrial revolution, they started exploiting our resources beyond the limit. That was the matter in foreign trade. And when we are coming from foreign trade to infrastructure facilities, the situation also, even if we are saying, yesterday we discussed about the infrastructure, And very famous, we are very famed about the network of railways started in the year 1850 and operation in the year 1853 and all. And commercial railway also. It's very famous matter. But that was also needed upgradation, expansion and public orientation. Even if whatever we are saying regarding railway, there also we faced a problem. Occupational structure. Majority of the population, they were in agriculture and all. Very few people only concentrated in industry and service sector. And altogether, we can say the prevalence of rampant poverty and unemployment was the nature of our country during British period. And that required welfare orientation policies of the government, especially in their economic policies. In a nutshell, we can conclude that the social and economic challenges before the country were enormous. Socially and economically, the people and population, they were suffering. And let us discuss one by one. What are the good impacts and bad impacts of British administration on Indian economy? Definitely, you should have to study, when you are studying the positive impact, you have to study the negative impact also. Let us start one by one. Let us discuss the positive and negative impacts of British administration in India. First of all, regarding the positive contributions of Britishers, we can make this positive contribution into 5 major headings. First one, new opportunities of employment. Second one, commercial outlook. Third one, control of famines. Fourth one, efficient system of administration. And last one, monetary system of exchange. I'll repeat the points once again. New employment, provision of new employment opportunities. Second one, commercial outlook, commercialization of agriculture and all, broad commercial outlook in the economy. And the spreading of transport and communication contributed more on control of famines and all. We'll discuss in detail. And fourth one, the administrative system, that was a reckoner for the politicians and policy makers. That is, we are saying in terms of efficient system of administration. And in money system of exchange, that is a monetary system of exchange, that is the fifth positive good impact of British administration on Indian economy. Okay, let us discuss one by one. First of all, what is meant by new employment opportunity? How did this British administration made employment opportunities in our country? Especially, we can say that spreading of railways, because railway is the important matter, a famous activity of the Britishers. We can highlight that in the year 1850, as I told you in my previous class. I am not going back to the history of that again. I am summing up the points because otherwise the class will become a lengthy, big class. So the spread of railways contributed along with the roadways and communication. All these facilities provided more employment opportunities for the unemployed people of the country. Means, and moreover, it contributed the cultural integration, unity among the people, and affinity among the people. Means people started traveling, started using this railway as their cheap transport facility. So that is why in such a way they use the railways, they use this railway for their transportation of commodities from one place to the other, their agricultural products, and that is why that promoted more opportunities of employment. Seeing the situations of that one, people started cultivating more and people started using the railway facilities for their agriculture and other purposes. So that we can say railway, spreading of railway contributed, and domestically people started using the railways domestic for their domestic trade and all. Such a way, altogether, people used the system and that contributed more employment opportunities for the unemployed generation, unemployed people of the country. That's the first part. Second matter is that commercial outlook. Means the economy, Britishers converted economy into a commercial economy. How? Using the commercialization of agriculture. Even if the commercialization of agriculture is pointed out from a negative angle also, we can say that the commercialization contributed some sort of green shoots in the economy. Even if they abandoned the food crops and they started cultivating cash crops, even after the forcing of the Britishers of the administration, that was a green shot, because many of the families, they were able to earn money from their business and they managed the matter of food and all from the earnings of that. Means the total outlook of the people, they changed and they started using new methods of cultivation and all. But because Britishers gave training for them how to cultivate these things, even if it is for the benefits of the Britishers in India. Indigo cultivation, tea plantations and all, and they taught a plantation technique, how the saplings can be planted and rows and columns. From there only we learned the techniques. Now we can see rubber plantations and all in our estates in a proper order. There's a proper row and columns. Which angle we are looking, we can see the correct line. That system and the distance between two plants or two trees, that also the Britishers' technique. They taught everything. That's the concept. And they contributed many fruits and vegetables of their own for this country. So that we cannot ignore that part. But when we analyze the demerits, these demerits are more than the merits. That is why it is highlighted. But the positive contributions of the Britishers, their vegetables, their fruits, and their cultivating methods of farming techniques, and how they made the cultivation profitable, everything we have to consider positively. That is why we can say a commercial outlook. Britishers contributed a commercial outlook towards the Indian farmers and farming. Clear? That is the second point. And third one is that control of famine. What is famine? Famine we mean, it's a situation of shortage of food grains and its use. Means this famine is due to not only because of the shortage of food grains, due to war, it may happen in the country. Due to inflationary spirals, it may happen in the country. Due to failure of the crops, famine may happen in the country. Because of the imbalance in the population, there are chances for famine in the country. Or the government policies also, famine may happen in the country. It's not only because of one matter, there are many factors are there. That is why only the Nobel Prize winner of 1998, Amartya Kumar Sen, he wrote in his book, Poverty and Famine, starvation is the characteristics of some people not having enough food to eat. Yes, means in a connection to this one, this situation, famine is accompanied by the following nature. Starvation will come. Regional malnutrition will come. Epidemic will start in the country. And moreover, it will increase the mortality, death rate of the population. Mortality. Is it? So, continue along with the famine, the situation will accompany starvation, regional imbalance, regional malnutrition, epidemic situation, and mortality also will be contributed there. That is why he quoted that it is not the characteristics of not being enough food to eat. Food is not the matter. Nutritious food is the matter. So starvation is not only due to the shortage of food grains, because we can say starvation is due to shortage of food grains, or famine is due to starvation. That's why he is told, while the latter can be the reason for the former means starvation is due to the shortage of food grains, or shortage of food grains is due to starvation. We can interconnect all these matter. That is why he is saying that we have to study whether and how starvation relates to food supply in a matter for factual investigation. We have to investigate whether the starvation is only the reason behind this shortage of food, or shortage of food is only the reason for starvation. No, it is a policy of the government. Is it? So we can discuss the matter when we are discussing the famine negative impact. Anyway, that situation that was controlled to an extent, according to the British people, they controlled the food issues and famine and all in our country due to their positive measures. We cannot ignore the matter. Even if there are around 10 to 12 big great famines are happened in our country from the period of 1760 to 1943. The last famine was Bengal famine, there 1943-44. Around 8.5 crore, 8 crore 50 lakhs people died. Is it during this famine of 1760 to 1943 period? We will discuss the topic in the negative impact. So here, this control of famine, that was possible because the spread of the transport and communication facilities, and that they are able to combat the spread of this famine in the country. Especially 2-3 famines very highlighted. One Bihar famine of 1873, I think. Bihar famine of 1873, yes, 73 and 74 famine, that was the relief activities of the Britishers and the governor generals and all, reduced the number of mortality. Means no significant mortality was there. So we cannot ignore the steps taken by the Britishers by providing food and nutritious food, and the drought hit areas also they extended their support during that time. So that also we have to consider as the positive one. So we can say to an extent they might have used the techniques of transport and communication, railways and all, to control the famine. That's the third point. So now we will discuss 3 points. Opportunity regarding employment opportunities we discussed, commercial outlook of the agriculture sector we discussed, and control of famine. The remaining 2 points. One is that efficient and systematic administration of administration. So when we think about administration, yes, the British administration contributed a reckoner. It was a reckoner for the politicians and planners, policy makers of the nation. Reckoner means a device, a table, easy device used for to find out the solution for the matters. Yes, the legacy, this matter we can say as the legacy of the efficient system of administration. Britishers taught us how to run an office properly. The assistants, their arrangements, seating order, everything they taught systematically. From there only we learned how to administer the matter, the administrative skill. They gave training for the employees, and they gave a training for the staffs. So such a way, a systematic way of office administration were taught by the Britishers. That we cannot ignore. The schooling system, English school system, English education, everything they taught in the country. They started English schools also for the education purposes and all. They started training centers for them. So it means that we can say British administration was efficient system of administration in the country, and we learned. Still we are using the capacities and capabilities of the Britishers in our nation. And last point from the positive contribution, monetary system of exchange. Fifth one, monetary system of exchange. Barter system of exchange were removed, and people started using money as the medium of exchange. That we discussed in our money and banking lesson. How the people changed from barter system to the money system. When they failed to find out the matter for double coincidence of wants, the farmer failed to find out the other person for the better exchange of the commodities. Then this system, new money system came, and it facilitated the specialization of labor and large scale production and spread of market in India. Such a way we can conclude that these are the positive contributions of Britishers on Indian economy, or good impacts of Britishers on Indian economy. Understood? Let us discuss about the bad impacts or negative contributions of Britishers in India. Means the impact, the evils of the British administration in India. That also we can categorize into 4 major points. First one, the same, commercialization of agriculture. Second point, new land revenue system. Third one, decline of handicrafts. And fourth one, devastated famine. That also we have to say that. First one, once again, commercialization of agriculture. Second one, new land revenue system. Third one, decline of handicraft. and handicrafts and devastated famines. That's very important point we have to discuss. So okay, let us discuss one by one. When we think about commercialization of agriculture, even if the commercialization of agriculture, it is a matter of green shoots in the economy, contributed more for the people, provided commercial outlook. When we study this matter in detail, that system totally spoiled the country's agricultural nature, benefited for few, but demerit for the many. Majority of the people suffered because of the bad evils of this one. Means Britishers used Indian economy after the Industrial Revolution as the source of raw material and the matter of market for their finished goods produced in Britain and other countries of the world. Means that led to shortage of food grains in the country. People migrated from expecting more money from their food crops to cash crops. So the demand and supply of the food grains created a big problem. And the Britishers used the railway also for the transportation of these goods. That is only they concentrated basically their benefits rather than the benefits of the Indians. And people stopped cultivating wheat, paddy, millets and all. These are the food grains for the starvation. There's a solution for the starvation. Instead of that, they started cultivating cotton, jute, tobacco, indigo and all. By force or as per their wish and will. Whatever it is, that commercialization spoiled the Indian agricultural sector. Few peasants might be got some benefits, but majority, 25-30% only benefited. 70% suffered because of the commercialization of agriculture. Clear. That is the one point. Second point is that new land revenue system. Yes, they brought three system of land revenue: permanent settlement and Zamindari system, Rayatwari system and Mahalwari system. We discussed in detail. If those who did not see the class, please see the previous classes. Then you will get an idea regarding all the system. Whatever be the system, Zamindari system spoiled the agricultural sector because Zamindars, they were only the middlemen. They were extracting the output of the farmers. They did not cultivate anything. Is it? Mahalwari system little bit advanced because that provided little more support to the farmer. But that was not a better system for the farmers. They considered the farmer, but the agricultural sector remains stagnant in the economy, backward, lopsided. Is it? So that's why we can say this landlord system, whatever it is that we are saying, that was not better for the agricultural development of the nation. And the Zamindars, the owners of the land, they holded the land in their hand. They are the rich people. And any time they can increase the land revenue also. Is it? Such a way that also spoiled. Increase in the rent. There is no safety and security for the farmer in that paddy field. That was the system prevailed. That also a negative impact. Even if we are saying little bit positive side, majority are the negative impacts of the administration. Third one is that point came from industry. Decline of handicraft. Before the advent of Britishers, majority of the artisans, skilled artisans of India, they were engaged in handicraft industry. And our handicraft product got popularity all over the world. Persia, muslin of Dhaka, that was very famous. Shawl of Kashmir, very famous. But all these industries, these are the stories prior to the British people and prior to Industrial Revolution. Though before that when they used spices and textiles, they are buying and selling there. But after the Industrial Revolution, their economic policy they changed. They started exploiting the resource of the nation. They used India. They converted India as the mere exporter of raw material and mere importer of finished goods from Britain. That also we discussed in our previous class. So, handicraft industry is also totally spoiled. The indigenous industry of the nation, that is spoiled by the East India Company. And they started their own products there. Cheap products, competing with the handicrafts. And moreover, they removed the princely courts, Nawabs, Rajas and all, or remove the patronage. When there are no courts are not there, who will be there to take the patronage of the industry? Such a way they spoil the matter. And moreover, opening of Suez Canal in the year 1869 reduced the cost of their transport into 40%. They started using Suez Canal, Red Sea and Suez Canal for the easy passage of their Britain through Mediterranean Sea and all. I told you when the Turkish invaded that region, they stopped in the year 1453. From that period itself, the Europeans from Spain and Portugal, they started new route. Bartholomew Dias and all, they reached and they went back. He said many are there, and finally Vasco da Gama reached in India. That's the history of the nation. We can conclude that all these systems of the British administration created issues, and moreover the handicraft industry is spoiled, and those people, those who are engaged in handicraft, they went back to agricultural sector, see, for their livelihood. And again the farmers, the agricultural land divided and subdivided. That made low productivity of agriculture again and again in the country. So this is the third reason. So once again, commercialization of agriculture, new land revenue system, decline of handicraft, and the last point, devastated famine of the country. It is an alarming situation. Regarding this only, the Nobel Prize winner Amartya Kumar Sen told that starvation is the characteristics of some people not having enough food to eat. Eating food is not there, not only the reason, but there are many reasons, as I told you. War, infection, then crop failure, policies of the nation, population imbalances, all are the reasons behind this famine and all. And it is accompanied by famine, it is there, accompanied by starvation, regional malnutrition, epidemic, imbalance in situation, mortality will come. As I told you, from 1760 to 1943, when we are analyzing the history of India, we can see that around 85 million people died. Means 8 crore 50 lakhs people died in our country because of this famine. Let us go through the major famines and its mortality. I don't remember all the famines, around 10 famines I remember that one from the history of India. You know, the first one, the first and foremost major famine of the country, that was the great famine of 1769 and 1770 in Bengal. First famine and last famine, that was in Bengal. 1943 also was in Bengal. In first famine, around 1/3 of the total population of Bengal died. Means 10 million people died. Means 30 million were there in Bengal that time. Understood? Because of the shortage of food grains and starvation and all, people died. That led to continuous epidemic, because the dead body, how will manage the dead body of that one? That was a big problem. And second famine, that was in the region of Punjab, Kashmir and all. There also, I think, around 11 million people also died in the year 1782-84. 82-84, yes. Chalisa famine, yes. It was known as Chalisa famine and all. And third famine also nearby, it's also having a nickname, Skull famine, skull. Such a way the people's identity was like that. Continuously they are not getting food for 2-3 months. They will become skeletons. They will become dietly imbalanced, and they will that will take the toll of life of majority of the people. Skull famine of 1788 till around 6 years it's continued. 94 I think. Yes. Affected in Madras presidency and all, Hyderabad, Orissa, Gujarat and region and all, it affected the same 11 million people. See, the first 3 famine, 10 million in first Bengal famine, second famine Chalisa, 11 million, third famine, Doji, his name is, I think, I forgot the name. In the Madras presidency also 11 million. Means, see, 32 million people died in these 3 famines of that one, skull famine and all. Understood? These are the 3 major big famines of India in the year from 1769 till 1794. Means 1800. We can say like that around. And other famines, the death of the people, toll of this, the threat of the people, mortality, it was little reduced, because British started preventing. That's why we can say positive contribution. In that one, very important one famine, it was happened in Agra in the year 1837 and 38. 80,000 people only died. Means 0.8 million people only died because Britishers were able to manage the situation. Northern province region in Agra and all, is it? And next other famine, it is also happened in the year 1860-61. One more famine also happened there in the regions of Agra and all. First famine, northern region, that area, and other famine, this 60-61 affected mostly in Agra, that killed around 2 million people. 1 million, 10 lakh, is it? So 20 lakhs people died there because of this famine in Agra and all. And one other famine I remember in the year 1865 or 67, something like that, in Orissa also. That also killed around nearly 1 million people also. And continuously, in continuation to the 67 or 68, in Rajputana, Ajmer and Agra region also, one famine happened. It happened there. It also killed around 1.5. Means after this one, the toll of the death, toll of the people life, that was around nearly 5 million, 2 million, 7 millions like that. Means the mortality came down. Which Britishers are able to manage the situation. In that only, very remarkable achievement from the side of the Britishers in case of 1873 famine of Bihar that I told you when we discussed the positive contribution. No significant death. Means the relief package for the Britishers were more. That's why the number of the death it was less. No significant death means people died but not drastically. That's what I think. These are the major famine details from my memory. One more famine I remember, Madras presidency and Mumbai and all. One more famine happened. That also considers to be great famine during that period of 1876 and 78 period. Great famine. That also considers to be great famine in Madras and Bombay presidencies and all. Is it? So, and after that also famines happened there. Killed majority of the people also. And last famine. In the year after 90s, there is no more famine. The last famine in the category it is 1943-44 famine. That also killed around 3 million people. 1.5 million starvation, and continuously because of the issues and all, around 3 to 4 million people died in our country. So altogether, when we are taking the total death of the population, toll of the life of the people from 1760 to 1943, we can say that around 85 million, means 8 crore 50 lakhs people or 8.5 crores of people died because of the starvation, regional malnutrition, epidemic and all, because of the famine. So that is why we can say this famine are devastated famines of the country. Understood? So let us sum up once again. What are the major positive good impacts? Means employment opportunities provided, commercial outlook provided, better control of famine, it was easy, efficient administration was possible, monetary exchange system, they contributed that one. While when you are coming to the negative impact, commercialization of agriculture, second one new land tenure system, third one decline of handicraft, and this devastated famine, death of the people. Hope you enjoyed the class, and this is our last class of first unit and chapter Indian economy on the eve of independence. Hope you enjoyed the class. Thank you.